Okay, folks, this is going to be one of these things where it's either going to work or it's not, because we're going to go forward here. So welcome to Fairest Creatures 2025, the Sonnets of William Shakespeare. We'll be reading Sonnets 78 through 154 today. And so without further ado, Mary, it's up to you.
Hi, I'm Mary Rowland. I'm reading Sonnet 78 from Bilbao, Spain. So oft have I invoked thee for my muse and found such fair assistance in my verse as every alien pen hath got my use, and under thee their poesy disperse. Thine eyes that taught the dumb on high to sing and heavy ignorance aloft to fly have added feathers to the learned's wing and given grace a double majesty. Yet be most proud of that which I compile, whose influence is thine and born of thee. In others' works thou dost but mend the style, and arts with thy sweet graces graced be. But thou art all my art, and dost advance as high as learning my rude ignorance. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Okay, and next up with number 78.
Hi, I'm Michele Harris of Sonnet 79. I'm reading from home in the Hillsborough area of North Carolina. Whilst I alone did call upon thy aid, my verse alone had all thy gentle grace. But now my gracious numbers are decayed, and my sick muse doth give another place. I grant, sweet love, thy lovely argument deserves the travail of a worthier pen. Yet what of thee thy poet doth invent? He robs thee of, and pays it thee again. He lends thee virtue, and he stole that word from thy behavior. Beauty doth he give, and found it in thy cheek. He can afford no praise to thee, but what in thee doth live. Then thank him not for that which he doth say, since what he owes thee, thou thyself dost pay.
Jaye, you're up next with number 80.
Hello there. And I'll be reading Sonnet 80 from a parking lot in Raleigh, North Carolina. Oh, how I faint when I do right, knowing better spirit doth use your name, and in the praise thereof spends all his might to make me tongue-tied speaking of your fame. But since your worth, wide as the ocean is, the humble as the proudest sail doth bear, my saucy bark, superior far to his, and your broad main doth wilfully appear, your shallowest help will hold me up aloft, whilst he upon your soundless deep doth ride. Or, being racked, I am a worthless boat. He of tall building and of goodly pride. Then if he thrive, and I be cast away, the worst was this: my love was my decay.
Thank you, Jaye. Sue Scarborough, you're up next with number 81.
My name is Billy Bones, and I'm coming to you from the Outer Banks, but don't you be telling anyone if you know what's good for you. I was talking to my friend Willie Shakespeare the other day, and he said to me, Billy, I'm going to make a verse about you. Ah, and so he did. And here it is, Sonnet 81. Or I shall live your epitaph to make, or you survive when I in the earth am forgotten and rotten. From hence your memory death cannot take, although in me each part shall be forgotten. Your name From hence immortal life shall have, though I, once gone to all the world, must die. And the earth can yield me but a common grave, when you entombed in men's eyes shall lie. Your monument shall be my gentle verse, which eyes not yet created shall o'erread, and tongues to be yours shall rehearse. When all the breathers of this world are dead, you shall live. Such virtue hath my pen, where breath most breathes, even in the mouths of men.
All right, thank you, Sue. George Russing, you're up next.
Hello, I'm George Russing. I'm coming at you from North Hollywood, California. And this is 82. I grant thou wert not married to my muse, and therefore mayest without attaint o'erlook the dedicated words which writers use of their fair subject, blessing every book. Thou art as fair in knowledge as in hue, finding thy worth limit past my praise, and therefore art enforced to seek anew some fresher stamp of the time-bettering days. And do so, love, yet when they have devised what strained touches rhetoric can lend, thou truly fair wert truly sympathized in true plain words by thy true telling friend, and their gross painting might be better used where cheeks need blood, in thee it is abused.
Thank you, George. Cole?
Sonnet number 83, I'm Cole Russing, and I'm coming to you from Almaty, Kazakhstan. I never saw that you did painting need, and therefore to your fair no painting set. I found, or thought I found, you did exceed the barren tender of a poet's debt. And therefore have I slept in your report, that you yourself, being extant, well might show how far a modern quill doth come too short. Speaking of worth, what worth in you doth grow? This silence for my sin you did impute, which shall be most my glory being dumb. For I impair not beauty being mute, when others would give life and bring a tune. There lives more life in one of your fair eyes than both your poets can in praise devise.
Thank you, Cole. Lucile, you're up next.
Hi, I'm Lucile Russing, and I'm reading from Cardiff, Wales. This is Sonnet 84. Who is it that says most, which can say more, than this rich praise, that you alone are you, in whose confine immured is the store, which should example where your equal grew? Lean penury within that pen doth dwell, that to his subject lends not some small glory, but he that writes of you, if he can tell, that you are you, so dignifies his story. Let him but copy what in you is writ, not making worse what nature made so clear, and such a counterpart shall frame his wit, making his style admired everywhere. You to your beauteous blessings add a curse, being fond on praise, which makes your praises worse.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm Arthur Wood, and I'm in Winchester in England. Here's number 85. My tongue-tied muse in manners holds her still, while comments of your praise, richly compiled, reserve their character with golden quill and precious phrase by all the muses filed. I think good thoughts, whilst other write good words, and like unlettered clerk still cry amen to every hymn that able spirit affords, in polished form of well-refined pen. Hearing you praised, I say, 'tis so, 'tis true, and to the most of praise add something more. But that is in my thought, whose love to you, though words come hindmost, holds his rank before. Then others for the breath of words respect, me for my dumb thoughts, speaking in effect.
Thank you. Next up would be Matthew.
Hi, Matthew Lubin. I'm going to be reading number 86. I'm in Kunshan in eastern China. Was it the proud full sail of his great verse, bound for the prize of all too precious you, that did my ripe thoughts in my brain inhearse, making their tomb the womb wherein they grew? Was it his spirit by spirits taught to write above a mortal pitch that struck me dead? No, neither he nor his compeers by night, giving him aid, my verse astonished. He nor that affable, familiar ghost, which nightly gulls him with intelligence, as victors of my silence cannot boast. I was not sick of any fear from thence. But when your countenance filled up his line, then lacked I matter, that enfeebled mine. Thank you.
Okay, and before I let you go, what time is it there?
1:18 a.m.
Okay.
I look tired, that's why.
Thank you, Matthew. You are quite a trooper. Ted, are you ready?
Yes, I am. I'm Ted Fitzheads. I'm reading Sonnet 87 from Olympia, Washington. Farewell, thou art too dear of my possessing, and like enough thou knowest thy estimate. The chatter of thy worth gives thee release. My bonds in thee are all determinate. For how do I hold thee but by thy granting? And for that riches, where is my deserving? The cause of this fair gift in me is wanting, and so my patent back again is swerving. Thyself thou gavest, thy own worth, then not knowing, or me, to whom thou gavest it, else mistaking. So thy great gift, upon misprision growing, comes home again on better judgment making. Thus I have had thee as a dream doth flatter, in sleep a king, but waking no such matter.
Thank you. Kathryn, you ready?
Absolutely. Kat Wilson, I'm reading from Gig Harbor, Washington, about an hour north of Ted. Sonnet 88. When thou shalt be deposed to set me light, and place my merit in the eye of scorn, upon thy side against myself I'll fight, and prove thee virtuous, though thou art forsworn. With mine own weakness being best acquainted, upon thy part I can set down a story of faults concealed, wherein I am attainted, that thou, in losing me, shalt win much glory. And I by this will be a gainer too, for bending all my loving thoughts on thee, the injuries that to myself I do, doing thee vantage, double vantage me. Such is my love. To thee I so belong, that for thy right myself will bear all wrong.
Thank you. Michele, you ready? Michele Dawes?
Yes, I am. I am Michele Dawes. I am reading from Micro, North Carolina, and I will be reading Sonnet 89. Say that thou didst forsake me for some fault, and I will comment upon that offense. Speak of my lameness, and I straight will halt. Against thy reasons, making no defense. Thou canst not, love, disgrace me half so ill, to set a form upon desire change, as I'll myself disgrace. Knowing thy will, I will acquaintance strangle, and look strange. Be absent from thy walks, and in my tongue thy sweet beloved name no more shall dwell, lest I, too much profane, should do it wrong, and haply of our old acquaintance tell. For thee, against myself, I'll vow debate, for I must never love him whom thou dost hate.
Thank you. Maria, you ready?
I am. Unfortunately, I do not have video, but so I can be anywhere and everywhere. Sonnet 90, I'll be reading. Then hate me when thou wilt, if ever, now, while the world is bent my deeds to cross, join with the spite of fortune, make me bow, and do not drop in for an after loss. Oh, do not, when my heart hath scaped the sorrow, come in the rearward of a conquered woe, but in the onset come. So shall I taste at first the very worst of fortune's might. If thou wilt leave me, do not leave me last. When other petty griefs have done their spite, give not a windy night, a rainy morrow, to linger out a purposed overthrow, and other strains of woe, which now seem woe, compared with loss of thee, will not seem so. Thank you.
Okay, and thank you. Erik?
Hi, I'm Erik Benrud. I am in Bloomington, Indiana, and this is Sonnet 91. Some glory in their birth, some in their skill, some in their wealth, some in their body's force, some in their garments, though newfangled ill, some in their hawks and hounds, some in their horse. And every humor hath his adjunct pleasure, wherein it finds a joy above the rest. But these particulars are not my measure. All these I better in one general best. Thy love is better than high birth to me, richer than wealth, prouder than garments cost, of more delight than hawks or horses be, and having thee, all men's pride I boast. Wretched in this alone, that thou mayest take all this away, and make me most wretched make.
And we thank you. Richard, you ready?
I am. Hi, I'm Richard Wood, and I'm reading Sonnet 92 from Cary, North Carolina. But do thy worst to steal thyself away. In term of life, thou art assured mine. A life no longer than thy love will stay, for it depends upon that love of thine. Then need I not to fear the worst of wrongs, when in the least of them my life hath end? I see a better state to me belongs than that which on thy humor doth depend. Thou canst not vex me with inconstant mind, since that my life on thy revolt doth lie. Oh, what a happy title do I find, happy to have thy love, happy to die. But what's so blessed fair that fears no blot? Thou mayest be false, and yet I know it not.
Thank you. Maura, you ready?
Yes, I'm Maura. Hi, I'm reading from Scarborough, North Carolina. Lovely to know that Cardiff and England are in on this. I'm Welsh by origin. So, Sonnet 93. So shall I live, supposing thou art true, like a deceived husband. So love's face may still seem love to me, though altered new. Thy looks with me, thy heart in other place, for there can live no hatred in thy eye. Therefore in that I cannot know thy change. In many's looks the false heart's history is writ in moods and frowns and wrinkles strange. But heaven in thy creation did decree that in thy face sweet love should ever dwell, whate'er thy thoughts or thy heart's workings be. Thy looks should nothing thence but sweetness tell. How like Eve's apple doth thy beauty grow, if thy sweet virtue answer not thy show.
Thank you, ma'am. Brook, you ready?
I am indeed. My name is Brook North, and I am from Raleigh, North Carolina. And all right, so yes, Sonnet 94. Here we go. They that have power to hurt and will do none, that do not do the thing they most do show, who moving others are themselves as stone, unmoved, cold, and to temptation slow, they rightly do inherit heaven's graces, and husband nature's riches from expense. They are the lords and owners of their faces, others but stewards of their excellence. The summer's flower is to the summer sweet, though to itself it only live and die. But if that flower with base infection meet, the basest weed outbraves his dignity. For sweetest things turn sour by their deeds. Lilies fester smell far worse than weeds.
Thank you. Debra, you're up. Go ahead.
Yeah, very timely. This is Sonnet 95. I'm Debra Kaufman, reading from Mebane, North Carolina. How sweet and lovely dost thou make the shame which, like a canker on the fragrant rose, doth spot the beauty of thy budding name. Oh, in what sweets dost thou thy sins enclose? That tongue that tells the story of thy days, making lascivious comments on thy sport, cannot dispraise, but in a kind of praise, naming thy name blesses an ill report. Oh, what a mansion have those vices got, which for their habitation chose out thee, where beauty's veil doth cover every blot, and all things turns to fair that eyes can see. Take heed, dear heart, of this large privilege. The hardest knife ill used doth lose his edge.
Oh, yes. GregRobin, you ready?
Yes, my name is GregRobin Smith. I am the managing director of the Washington Shakespearean Festival out here in Washington State, and I'm reading Sonnet 96. Welcome on. Some say thy fault is youth, some wantonness. Some say thy grace is youth and gentle sport. Both grace and faults are loved of more and less. Thou mak'st false graces that to thee resort. As on the finger of a throned queen, the basest jewel will be well esteemed. So are those errors that in thee are seen, to truths translated, and for true things deemed. How many lambs might the stern wolf betray, if like a lamb he could his looks translate? How many gazers mightst thou lead away, if thou wouldst use the strength of all thy state? But do not so. I love thee in such sort, as thou being mine, mine is thy good report. Thank you.
Greetings from the beautiful foothills of Western North Carolina. My name is Joseph Laterio Maimone, pinch hitting Sonnet 97. How like a winter hath my absence been from thee, the pleasure of the fleeting year. What freezings have I felt, what dark days seen, what old December's bareness everywhere. And yet this time removed was summer's time, the teeming autumn, big with rich increase, bearing the wanton burthen of the prime, like widowed wombs after their lord's decease. Yet this abundant issue seemed to me but hope of orphans and unfathered fruit, for summer and his pleasures wait on thee, and thou away, the very birds are mute, or if they sing, 'tis with so dull a cheer, that leaves look pale, dreading the winter's near.
All righty. We thank you. And Nathalie, are you ready?
Ready as ever. I'm
I'm Nathalie Ray. I'm reading from Raleigh, North Carolina, sonnet number 98. All right. From you have I been absent in the spring, when proud-pied April, dressed in all his trim, hath put a spirit of youth in everything. That heavy Saturn laughed and leapt with him. Yet nor the lays of birds, nor the sweet smell of different flowers in odor and in hue, could make me any summer story tell, or from their proud lap pluck them where they grew. Nor did I wonder at the lilies white, nor praise the deep vermilion in the rose. They were but sweet, but figures of delight, drawn after you. You pattern all of those. Yet seemed it winter still, and you away, as with your shadow I with these did play.
Thank you. Jon, you're up next.
Yes, Jon Frantz, speaking from Fayetteville, North Carolina, and I am reading Sonnet 99. The forward violet thus did I chide, sweet thief, whence didst thou steal thy sweet that smells, if not from my love's breath? The purple pride which on thy soft cheek for complexion dwells, in my love's veins thou hast too grossly dyed. The lily I condemned for thy hand, and buds of marjoram had stolen thy hair. The roses fearfully on thorns did stand, one blushing shame, another white despair, a third nor red nor white had stolen of both, and to his robbery had annexed thy breath. But for his theft, in pride of all his growth, a vengeful canker ate him up to death. More flowers I noted, yet I none could see, but sweet or color it had stolen from thee.
Okay, so I'm Kim O'Callahan, and I am reading Sonnet 100. I'm also from
If I profane with my unworthiest hand this holy shrine, the gentle sin is this: my lips two blushing pilgrims ready stand to smooth that rough touch with a tender kiss.
Good pilgrim, you do wrong your hand too much, which mannerly devotion shows in this. For saints have hands that pilgrims' hands do touch, and palm to palm is holy palmer's kiss.
Have not saints lips, and holy palmers too?
Aye, pilgrim lips that they must use in prayer.
And, oh then, dear saint, let lips do what hands do. They pray. Grant thou, lest faith turn to despair.
Saints do not move, though grant for prayer's sake.
Then move not, while my prayer's effect I take.
And that was our Easter egg.
Okay,
well done.
Thank you very much.
So as you can see, Jon and I obviously live together. We're married, and we're both actors. So like I said, my name is Kim O'Callahan, and I will be reading Sonnet 100. Where art thou, muse, that thou forgett'st so long to speak of that which gives thee all thy might? Spend'st thou thy fury on some worthless song, darkening thy power to lend base subjects light? Return, forgetful muse, and straight redeem in gentle numbers time so idly spent. Sing to the ear that doth lies thy lays esteem, and gives thy pen both skill and argument. Rise, resty muse, my love's sweet face survey, if time have any wrinkle graven there, if any be a satire to decay, and make time's spoils despised everywhere. Give my love fame faster than time wastes life, so thou preventest his side and crooked knife.
Thank you, ma'am. And next up, we've got Freyja.
Hello. Yes, I'm Freyja Helmer-Sindemark, and I'm speaking to you today from my new home in Jarnac, France. I'll be reading Sonnet 101, first in English and then in Swedish. One moment. O truant muse, what shall be thy amends for thy neglect of truth and beauty died? Both truth and beauty on my love depends, so dost thou too, and therein dignified. Make answer, muse, wilt thou not haply say, truth needs no color with his color fixed, beauty no pencil, beauty's truth to lay, but best is best, if never intermixed. Because he needs no praise, wilt thou be dumb? Excuse not silence so, for 't lies in thee to make him much outlive a gilded tomb, and to be praised of ages yet to be. Then do thy office, muse. I teach thee how to make him seem long hence, as he shows now. Nu det på svenska. Du tröga sångmod, då du glömmer rent, hur sant och skönt förliks, hör undgå tadel. Både sant och skönt är hos min vän förrent, liksom hos dig, och däri bor din adel. Kan hända sångmö, vill du svara så, det sanna är en färg som ej förytas, det sköna utan puts är sant ändå, men bäst är bäst om ej det sammangyttras. Då han ej behöver tigger du en lumpen ursäkt, ty på dig berör det, att göra gyllene grift och nödig ju med sådant löv, att eftervärlden tror det. Så gör din skyldighet, hur värdig jag, att framtid honom ser som vi idag.
All right, thank you. Do you translate that yourself, or did you find a translation?
The Swedish, oh yeah, they exist in Swedish. You can go modern Swedish, or this is old Swedish, which is why I stumble a little bit.
Okay, I got you. Okay, well, I very much appreciate it.
And I am unmuted now, so here we go. My love is strengthened, though more weak in seeming. I love not less, though less the show appear. That love is merchandised, whose rich esteeming the owner's tongue doth publish everywhere. Our love was new, and then but in the spring, when I was wont to greet it with my lays, as Philomel in summer's front doth sing, and stops his pipe in growth of riper days. Not that the summer is less pleasant now than when her mournful hymns did hush the night, but that wild music burdens every bough, and sweets grown common lose their dear delight. Therefore, like her, I sometime hold my tongue, because I would not dull you with my song.
Thank you, Erik, and thank you to everybody that joined us for this first hour here.